essentially, then this bill would give the president the authority to say, okay, like we're just going to shut down all of these like quasi embassies under the guise of Hong Kong, and then the only embassy that represents the People's Republic of China would be the official one.
Right. Yeah. So there are three economic and trade offices: San Francisco, Washington D.C., and New York, and they would be the president would have the authority to shut it down, and that, I think, underscores an important point. Hong Kong says we're open for business, it's back to normal. It's not back to normal. And U.S. businesses have to understand that. U.S. businesses that either do business in Hong Kong or mainland China. The other thing that's important, we have to close loopholes with Hong Kong. Hong Kong does not have, so the export restrictions that we have on dual-use technology to mainland China don't exist for Hong Kong. So that's another loophole. That's not addressed with this bill, but that's another loophole that needs to be addressed as well. But
wait, so U.S. companies can export sensitive technology that has military use to Hong Kong.
Yeah, and
as if like somehow mainland China does not control Hong Kong.
So that, and I think there's also you have to look at companies like NVIDIA too, and their role in continuing to supply China. Defense companies like Raytheon, they supply us, and they also supply the Chinese. So I think we really need to take American businesses, to the extent that they still see themselves as American and not globalist entities, really need to take a long, hard look at where they stand, and that is something that individual CEOs need to kind of look at themselves in the mirror. We've been very critical of Thermo Fisher Scientific. That's a company that has these DNA markers that have been implicated in the in collecting DNA without consent from Tibetans and ethnic Uyghurs. It's been used by the police to track something. China is very intent on obtaining DNA information. There have been allegations, and again, these are allegations that we're going to look at more closely, that these DNA markers have been used to identify organ donors, unwilling organ donors for forced organ harvesting. When I was at the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, and Chris Smith was the chairman, we held a hearing on China's organ harvesting. It's the horrors of China's organ harvesting. We had credible testimony from people like Ethan Gutman that China basically takes, and the ideal age is 28 years old. They take oftentimes Uyghurs and others that fit a certain DNA profile, and that they then are basically on order. So their organs are harvested from them. There was an important journal article in the American Journal of Transplantation, which looked at Chinese literature, and they said that the number of legitimate organs under the dead donor rule in China and the number of transplants, there's a delta here, that the number of actual organ transplants that take place in China, they have to be getting organs illicitly. When it was in Taiwan a few months ago, we met with, I'd mentioned the control yen, which serves as that oversight mechanism, one of the 5 branches of government. We had a meeting with the control yen. They've uncovered evidence that Taiwan has banned organ tourism. You can't go to mainland China for the purposes of getting an organ illicitly. But what they found was that people would be returning to Taiwan, and they would be filing insurance claims for immunosuppressants, even though ostensibly they went there for just 2 weeks of tourism. So that's something that Taiwan is looking at in their own country. Kudos to them for trying to keep their own house in order. That you have people from Taiwan. But it's not just Taiwan. There's this organ tourism is a phenomenon. If you talk to Uyghur activists, they'll say one of the reasons that the Uyghur are harvested now, it used to be the Falun Gong. The Falun Gong were often the targets of Chinese organ harvesting. It seems to have shifted now towards Uyghurs and other predominantly Muslim Central Asians there. It's because their organs are considered halal. They haven't eaten pork or drunk alcohol. So there is a marketing of halal organs in countries in the Persian Gulf. And again, that's something I think that deserves closer scrutiny. There are videos that show Chinese hospital catering to Muslims from the Persian Gulf, in particular the Gulf countries. If you talk to Uyghurs, they will say that this is a great betrayal, that they're being harvested to provide organs for others. Again, that's something that I think deserves closer scrutiny. Perhaps it's the subject of another hearing. Ethan Gutman, who's done some great work, he wrote a book called The Slaughter, which I would highly recommend, is coming out with more evidence on organ harvesting. There's even a Taiwan presidential election angle in this whole sordid story, too, if people are interested. Ke Wen-jen, the former mayor of Taipei, it's been alleged that he did represent Medtronics, which is, again, an American company that had these ECMO machines that were used in organ transplantation and transportation of organs. He was the representative of Medtronics there. He's a medical doctor. And it has been alleged that he did teach certain transplantation techniques that were then used in mainland China. That is something that I don't want to go beyond the evidence, but that's certainly something that's been debated. Ethan Gutman, whom I referred to, did get caught up in some debates over that, and I think he's been vindicated in that regard.